As most of you already know, Jerome Powell delivered a speech at the Jackson Hole meeting on August 23rd. According to Federal Reserve's media mouthpiece Nick Timiraos from Wall Street Journals, Jerome Powell pivot is complete, meaning that Jerome Powell is no longer a hawk. He did a 180-degree U-turn and now he is a dove, right? So according to his X post, right, he mentioned some of the most important quotes from Jerome Powell during the speech. He said the cooling of the labor market condition is unmistakable, and it seems unlikely that labor market will be a source of elevated inflationary pressures anytime soon. And he also said we do not seek or welcome further cooling in the labor market conditions. Also, he said the time has come for policy to adjust. The direction of the travel is clear, and the timing and the pace of the rate cut will depend on the incoming data, the evolving outlook, and the balance of risks. And he said we will do everything we can to support a strong labor market as we make further progress towards price stability. Right? And it's also noted that Jerome Powell avoided to use words such as gradual or methodical to describe the expectation for future rate cuts, pretty much opening doors for larger rate cuts if the labor market shows signs of greater weakness, right? Allowing them to do maybe 50 basis point or even 75 basis point rate cuts in the future if necessary. Besides the labor market weakness, one thing not to be overlooked is the delinquency rate on the credit cards. So this chart shows you the credit card balance in serious delinquencies. So pretty much the card balance that are not making required minimum payments for 90 days or more, right? And this chart shows you the percentage of that as of the total balance from the year 2000 until now. So as we can see in 2008 great financial crisis, the percentage when the recession was entered, the percentage of serious delinquency percent was 9%, and in the year 2020, the COVID recession, the percentage when entering a recession was around 8.5%, but right now we are at 10.9%, right? Approximately 11%. So we're already at a level for the delinquency rate for credit cards that's higher than the levels seen before in both recessions previously. So this data is indicating that increased financial strains are being presented on the American consumers. So it's pretty much telling us that Federal Reserve should probably start cutting rates now, right? But on the other side of the argument, we need to be aware of is that there are some caveats about asset prices. Right now, we are near or at all-time high. So this chart is the S&P 500 price action. As we can see, it's at all-time high, and we're about to enter September, and September FOMC is expected to cut rate. So a rate cut will be near or at all-time high for the stock market. A stock market being this pricey at the moment, it's showing us the optimistic beliefs among the investors that the economy will manage to have a soft landing, right? If the consensus is that the economy going to go into turmoil, they're not going to have the price this high. But of course, with the stock market being all-time high, there is also the worry that start cutting rate now will fuel the bubble to go even bigger or larger. And this chart shows you the American housing industry, the real estate price, right? It's the Case-Shiller National Home Price Index, and it's showing us that it's currently at 323. It is the all-time high. This index represents the value of single-family homes in U.S. And this chart comes from Zillow, right? The Zillow rent index. Of course, it shows you the renting price in America. It's at all-time high, currently at 2070. So these data are telling us maybe we need to be a little bit careful, right? A little bit careful when it comes to rate cuts. You don't want to cut too quickly, right? And what's going to happen around the time of rate cut? And here we have some very interesting data. This chart is based on the research from Goldman Sachs. So during the past 8 Federal Reserve cut cycles since 1984, we have the seasonality chart of S&P 500. The S&P 500 typically rose by 2% in the first 3 months. Okay, so that's the average of the past 8 Fed cut cycles. Okay, and first 3 months is rising by 2%, and 12 months it will rise by 11%. But however, it's very important to note the distribution in the past 8 events. Right, the distribution of the outcomes are very wide, because as you can see in this chart, in the past 8 rate cut cycles, for 5 of them within the 12 months of the first rate cut. So here, right, that's the timeline of the first rate cut. So 0 month. Within the 12 months of the first rate cut, the economy does not enter a recession, and that's the performance of S&P 500. On the horizontal axis, we can see number of months since the rate cut, right? So 12 months out since the rate cut, we're seeing a S&P 500 return about 13% in that five instances. And for the 3 instances where the economy actually entered a recession within 12 months of the first rate cut, we're seeing a median return of around minus 15% for S&P 500 12 months after the first rate cut. Okay, so it is a very wide range of outcomes, and so it's essential. So what's essentially it essentially comes down to whether we enter a recession or not, right? Within the 12 months after the first rate cut. But of course, it's impossible to know when we're going to have a recession. But according to the latest Bank of America EPS growth model of the global profit expectation, pretty much the 12-month forward EPS, or earnings per share chart, we can see that in this chart, in the light blue line is the model made by Bank of America for the next for the 12-month forward EPS, and we have the dark blue line showing the actual data, the actual forward EPS growth. So the light blue line is going to lead the dark blue line a little bit, because the light blue line represents a model, a estimate. The Bank of America model is telling us that the forward EPS estimate is to decelerate from 11% 11% growth year over year in July 2024 to 5% growth year over year by December of 2024. And the July was the inflection point, meaning that, right, it's going to turn from a uptrend to a downtrend at July as an inflection point, right? So that's not very optimistic, of course, because if we enter a earnings recession, that can possibly lead us into an actual economic recession. So as a conclusion of the video, I do understand that the market optimism when it comes to rate cuts, but remember, there's a saying on Wall Street called sell the news, right? You buy the rumor, you sell the news. Right now, apparently the market goes up because there's a rumor of rate cut, right? We're pretty set to know that it's going to cut in September. So maybe there's going to be a sell the news action in September. Who knows? And also, if you're thinking about, if you actually sit down and think about where we're at right now, economically speaking, right, we still have a above target inflation, right? That's above the 2% annual target. And some of the CPI elements are still pretty sticky, right? Like the home prices, the shelter index. And at the same time, how are we doing on the job market, which is the other mandate from Federal Reserve? The job market is not doing too well because Jerome Powell said it's noticeably weakened already, right? We saw the non-farm payroll. We saw the unemployment rate problem. We saw the revision on the non-farm payroll, right? It's weakening, It's weakening the job market. So I think it's important to be aware of the situation. So that's all I want to share with you today. Please leave a comment in the comment section below to answer this question. What do you think about Federal Reserve's upcoming rate cut? Do you think it's going to help the economy to avoid a recession and get us a soft landing? Or do you think it's not going to help? The actual hard landing is coming. Let me know in the comment section below. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you.